live stream or roll up a power up. So get your blunts rolled and your drink poured. Alright? Tap in, tap the fuck in. Listen, right? This one, I called. I low key just thought about this shit. This a prison story that I gotta bring to y'all to let you know the streets is over. Tap in, tap the fuck in. Now look, this one right here is gonna be kind of touchy. You know what I'm saying? So you might just want to tune in to this one. Even if you stop by and check out for a minute, you're gonna want to watch this one to the end, cause this one real serious. Tap in, tap the fuck in. I told y'all ain't never heard a man cry before for real. You know what I'm saying? And this right here, y'all gonna understand what it is when a man cry for real. Tap in, tap the fuck in. You know, sometimes guys be out here putting in work for the streets and they really don't understand the streets really don't love them until they get caught in that bubble. Tap in, tap the fuck in. Listen, you only got a certain amount of time in life, man. Don't play with it. Time is the most precious thing you got. Your freedom is the most valuable tool you have. Tap in. Tap the fuck in. All right. So let's go ahead and get this started, right? Back in 2004, right? Well, before that, I'm just going to tell you about the 2004 story. But in Detroit, we used to always have these, get-togethers called summer jams. And I'm pretty sure y'all probably have them in y'all town and everything. But I'm just speaking on how it was in the D back then. I was a young ass teenager at the time. You know what I'm saying? I might have been like 14, 15, 16, somewhere around there, right? Well, with these summer jams, they will bring it to Detroit, for the summer. And basically, it'll be like a bunch of artists coming to perform and shit like that. All the hot rappers at the time, they'd come to the city and come perform. Where they'd come perform at is downtown Detroit. It's a big ass opening called Hart Plaza. And at the time, it was free. So basically, you could just go there and watch the performers perform for free and shit like that. Like one of the years, B2K was there. You know what I'm saying? This just going to show you how long ago this shit was. But B2K was there one year, and man, they bomb rushed their ass. You know what I'm saying? Like that just go to show you like how live that shit was. They bomb rushed the gates, chased Omarion and them. That shit was crazy. So after that, they made people start paying for the shit because people was acting a damn fool, right? So that's just a little backspin on the summer jams. Well, here go 2004, right? This was the last year of it being down there, and this is why. So me and my boys, we down there at the summer jam. We talking to the girls. Uh, the summer jam be on this strip called Jefferson. Jefferson, a main street. You know what I'm saying? Now, after the summer jams, everybody be walking up Jefferson. Talking to the girls, mixing and mingling with everybody. That's just what it was. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, while we out there talking to girls and shit like that. Next thing you know, boom, 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 shots let the fuck off. And this you really was like happening like every year for real. You know what I'm saying? But this last year, somebody got killed. You know what I'm saying? Now, when the shooting happened, like I said, we was there when it happened. You know what I'm saying? Everybody took off running and shit, but we didn't know, who got shot or none of that. Because when shots let off, you just take off. You know what I'm saying? Stefan's boys, how's your day? My day going good. I got up, I did my usual workout routine. You know what I'm saying? Now here I am doing my live, and I'm about to get this day started. So everything's sweet. How your day going? All right. Now look, when I said everybody took off, we got our rides. We went home. We got the fuck on because when the shots let out, it's time to go. You know what I'm saying? So we get the fuck on, right? Later on that day, we heard somebody had got killed up there. You know what I'm saying? We in the hood at this point. You know what I'm saying? They like, yeah, somebody got killed at the summer jams. Woo woo. So after that happened, they like, man, look, the summer jams is over with. You know what I'm saying? Every year, y'all tear this bitch up. Y'all chasing the damn performers. You know what I'm saying? The shit is free, and y'all still want to fuck up. So what they did was they canceled Summer Jam after the guy got killed up there in 2004, right? They moved the Summer Jams to a place called State Fair, the State Fairgrounds, which was way on the opposite side of town. You know what I'm saying? And they started charging motherfuckers to go after that. You know, and the security was tight. It was just a whole lot different. But anyway, back to what I was saying, right? So they closed the summer jams at Hart Plaza. No more free summer jams. No more none of that shit, right? Because somebody got killed. All right, dog got killed. Summer jams downtown at Hart Plaza over with. So we move on with our life, right? All right, here it is. 10 years later, I'm in prison, right? You know, I didn't call my case. I didn't got sentenced. I'm doing my time. This 2014 now. I got out 2015. So when I went in 2011 to 2014, I pretty much was at this one prison called Adrian Facility. Adrian Facility is a little further down the map on Michigan. It's like closer to Ohio. So I did most of my time at Adrian. It was almost time for me to get out, and I had to take this course called Violent Offender Program, VOP. The prison that I was at, they didn't have that class. So they rolled me out to a prison that did have that class. The prison that they rolled me to was Lapeer, Michigan. You know what I'm saying? Lapeer Correctional Facility, LCF. So I told y'all before, when you in prison, you ride out all the time. You know what I'm saying? You hardly ever do all your time at the same prison. They always riding you out. So they rolled me out, right? Because I had to take that class before I got out. So boom, they shot me to Lapeer. I'm in Lapeer now, right? The same day I got there, I met this dude named E. This was my homie. You know what I'm saying? I never known dog or none of that. It was just as soon as I got there, me and him got locked in instantly. You know what I'm saying? Now when I got there, I only had like 7 to 8 months left to do on my time. You know what I'm saying? So basically I was just rocking out my last couple of months at a new prison, doing my doing my time and complete my VOP course so I get my parole and go home, right? All right. Well, like I said, me and E got locked in. E was well known at Lapeer because E was there for a while and he was from the streets and he had a lot of clout. Everybody was fucking with him. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why E was fucking with me so tough, but he fucked with me. You know what I'm saying? Me and E used to work out together. We used to spin laps around the yard. You know what I'm saying? We was building all the time. We was the same age. We was talking our hood shit. He knew people I know. I knew people he knew. Me and E was like this, right? Well, with me and E being real cool, he always bringing people around me. You know what I'm saying? Mind you, I'm at a new prison, so I really don't know nobody here. You know what I'm saying? None of that. And I really didn't care to know anybody. I just want to do my time and go home, you know. But like I said, me and E was dogs. So he'd bring me around people in there he knew, you know, and people be telling me their stories of how they caught their case, how much time they got, you know, blah, 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 shit like that, right? Well, he brought me around this one dude, right? Bald head nigga. I forgot dog name. I'm gonna be for real. I forgot his name, but he was a bald head, kind of short guy. He might have been like 5'6", 5'7". That's short to me because I'm 6'2". You know what I'm saying? But anyway, he brought me around this guy. Dog was a little older than us. I was in my 20s at that time. You know what I'm saying? I was like 24, 25, something. I think I was 25. Yeah, I was 25 at that time, right? Dog was 10 years older than us. So he was 35. You know what I'm saying? He always was around us. Like it was just a crew of us young niggas in our 20s. And he was the only one that was in his 30s that was rolling with us. You know what I'm saying? Because he fucked with E. Well, anyway, he get to telling his story, about why he in prison and what he did. Well, first, when you talk to somebody in prison, the first thing they tell you is how much time they got. Then they tell you what they in there for. So he started off and said, I got life in prison. I got life. They call them elbows, L's, naturals, letters. Letters mean life, Life. If they give you life, it just say life. So some guys in prison that say, I got letters. And when they say that, that means they got life. Anyway, dog said I had life, you know what I'm saying? So we like, okay, what happened? He like, man, I was downtown one day back in 2004, you know. He like, I got into it with a nigga, from the hood. We was just so happened to be downtown one day, big ass party going on, and the shooting. He was like, I got the shooting at the nigga. I caught him down there. I shot him and I killed him. I'm sitting there like, damn, that shit sounds familiar as hell. You know what I'm saying? Like when he was speaking on it, my mind got to wondering, like, huh? Like what he's saying kind of corroborate with what I went through back in 2004. You know what I'm saying? So I let him keep going. And he like, yeah, the nigga was a nigga I was beefing with in the hood and shit like that. Woo, woo, woo. I caught his ass downtown. I just had to go ahead and get him off the map. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, when this happened, was it the summer jams? He like, yeah, that's exactly what it was. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, dog, I was down there when that shit happened. You know what I'm saying? He like, yeah, I was the nigga that killed him. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? Just so happened, I remember that shit 10 years prior. You know what I'm saying? Because I was down there when that shooting happened. Here it is, 10 years later. I'm in prison with the nigga that did the damn killing, did the shooting. So I'm like, dog, what happened? Why did you have to blame that nigga down there? He like, man, it was just on sight. You know what I'm saying? He was like, it wasn't no waiting to catch him, none of that. He was like, on top of that, he was like, the nigga was hard to catch. Like, he was like, I just couldn't catch him nowhere. So I was down there at the summer jams. He like, I was down there with my niggas and shit. Whoop. He like, dog, I was down there slipping, thought shit was cool. I cooked his ass. I'm like, damn, that's crazy as hell, cause I was down there, you know what I'm saying, when that shit happened. So we talking about the shit. He like, man, he like, look, he was like, at the time when I did it, it was like, it was cool and everything, but he like, man, I've been in here 10 years. I'm like, damn, so they caught your ass instantly, you know what I'm saying? He like, man, they caught me that same day. I'm like, what? They caught you the same day? He like, bro, I've been in here every since that same day. Now, mind you, what I told y'all at the beginning, soon as the shooting happened, we shot back to the hood. So by the time we got back to the hood, he was getting cuffed up. That was his last day on the streets. You know what I'm saying? Here it is, 10 years later, I bump into him. You know what I'm saying? Let me hit the chat real quick. Benji 601, what's the deal, my dog? You good? What's that word? Tap in. All right. Now, like I said, this 10 years later, I done did the majority of my time. I'm sliding out. I'm about to get ready to get out. You know what I'm saying? Bro, telling me the story. See, I'm not encouraging nobody to go to prison or nothing like that. But sometimes being in prison is a good thing. And me being in prison, it was a good thing for me. You know, it ain't a good thing for everybody. It was a good thing for me. I matured a lot. I grew up a lot. I left a lot of shit alone. I learned a lot. I bumped into a bunch of people that taught me some real shit. You know what I'm saying? And I ran into this guy that committed the same murder that I was down there when this shit happened. So sometimes prison can be a good thing. You can learn a lot from prison. It ain't just necessarily you just sitting there rotting away. You can learn a lot from a lot of people in there. And there's a lot of talented people in there too. So you bump into a lot of talent while you in there as well. But overall, of course, prison ain't the way to go. Just saying, if it do happen, it can be a good thing. So, like I was saying, with this case, with bro telling me about, the whole situation, me and him ended up getting cool as hell. You know what I'm saying? Me and him got to spinning laps around the yard. So it was one of them days, me and him got to spinning laps and shit. We call it spinning laps. When you walking around the yard, you walking and talking. It's called spin a lap. So sometimes a nigga would come to your cell, be like, come on, come spin a lap with me. You know what I'm saying? Meaning, let's go hit the yard, walk around and talk. So it was one of them days, me and him went to go spin a lap, right? Spin a lap, a turn into like 50 laps. You know what I'm saying? But the turn me is spin a lap. So anyway, we out there spinning our laps, right? And he like, yeah, bro, you about to go home, ain't you? By this time, I might have had about 6 months left, like right before I went to see the parole board. I'm like, yeah, man, I only got a couple months. I'm up out of here. You know what I'm saying? He like, dog. He like, man, you just don't understand how lucky you is to get the little bit of time you had got for your crime. You know what I'm saying? Now look, like I said, I went to prison for armed robbery slash carjacking. You know what I'm saying? With them kind of cases, it's a very violent case. And they be booking niggas on that shit. You know what I'm saying? Niggas be getting at least 15 years on that type of crime. It's up there with the murders, home invasion ones, attempted murder, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So basically, he like, dog, you got lucky with your time, blah blah blah. He like, man, you just don't understand, uh, you know, God blessed you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yeah, man, I feel it, because basically everybody I was on the yard with had a lot of time to do. You know what I'm saying? So he like, you about to slide up out of here and about to leave all of us left in this bitch. You know what I'm saying? So while he talking his talk, I'm just letting him talk. You know what I'm saying? Because when you in prison with guys that got a lot of time, sometimes you just gotta let them talk. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they be having a lot on their chest that they just want to get off. And especially they like to get off to people that's on their way home because they don't want you to come back on the terms that they in their own. You know what I'm saying? So they want to try and give you some game on how not to come back. So basically this what he was doing. We spinning our laps and he giving me game. While he in the middle of giving me game, he started crying. Oh my God, man. That shit fucked me up. Like I said, y'all ain't never heard a grown man cry for his life. You might have heard him cry when he seen his first kid being born. You might have seen him cry because his homeboy died. You might have seen him cry at a funeral. You never seen a man cry for his own life. And you will never see it unless you go to prison. And this is exactly what I was just saying about sometimes going to prison be a good thing. And honestly, seeing a grown man cry is a good thing. Here it is. I've been out of prison for 10 years and I haven't been back. I got out of prison in 2015, February of 2015. So next month, it'll be 10 years that I've been prison free. I haven't been back ever since. I done been to the county jail a bunch of times, petty shit, driving on suspended, stupid shit like that. But prison, nah. I did my 2 years of parole, discharged, haven't looked back since. I did my 4 years in prison, and then I did 2 years of parole after I got out. The statistic is that 8 out of 10 guys that get released on parole come back. Out of 10 guys, 8 of them come back on parole. That's why they have parole, because they know you gonna fuck up somehow, some way, and you gonna go right back. I was one out of the 2 guys that barely make it on parole. And why did I make it? Because of all of the shit that I seen while I was in there. Not only losing my life and my freedom, my time, losing everything that I lost, but from what I seen and what I experienced in there. And this guy right here, he was one of them. He might have been the biggest influence on me, because I didn't see grown men cry for their life in jail, in the county jail, and I didn't see grown men cry for their life in prison. But I never had a grown man cry to me about his life. Like I said, I didn't see grown men in there cry for their life, but I never had one cry to me about his life. That's a whole nother thing. When a grown man tell you to come spend a lap with him, and he started crying about his own life because he lost his life to something that wasn't even worth shit. You know what I'm saying? So he started crying. You know what I'm saying? He like, man, I lost my life, to some shit that didn't mean nothing. You know what I'm saying? He like, dog, I don't understand, why I did what I did at the time. Because it was like, at the time I was young. At that time he was in his 20s. So he was like, I was young. I was in the hood with my niggas doing hood shit. We beefing with niggas, blah, 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 all of the same shit that go on. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. All of the same shit that go on in the hood. You know what I'm saying? So he breaking all that down, and he telling me like, bro, look, when you get out, don't go back to that shit. You know what I'm saying? He like, I lost my life like that, and he was like, I caught one of the ops slipping. And he was like, I had to put one down for the team. Cause it was like, when the shit happened, he like, when we seen dog down there, he like, my boys was tapping me. Because he said he was the only one that had a gun on him. This is another thing about them guns. Put the guns down. Because out of him, with all of his boys, I think he said it was like 5 or 6 of them, with him and his boys. He was the only one that had a gun. And none of his boys said, hey, you know what? Give me that gun. I'm about to blow this nigga. They all tapping him. Bro, there you go. Knock that nigga off. Go ahead, drop him. Get him. You know what I'm saying? They encouraging him to kill the nigga. And that's what he did. Because he was on that tip. So he ran up on him, blew him. Right there in front of everybody. Broad daylight in front of everybody. Because he wanted that street cred. Because his homeboys geeked him up to do the shit. Well, after his boys geeked him up to do it, he did it. This downtown Detroit, cops everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So as soon as it happened, he got caught. Boom, they got his ass, right? He said from the time he got locked up all the way up until 10 years later when I met him, he said none of his boys sent him anything. They never came to visit him. They don't accept his phone calls. They all moved on with their life, and they don't fuck with him. So he said, he got to call in the streets and shit, seeing what was going on. He said them same niggas on the block drinking, talking they shit, acting like ain't nothing happened. And they the same ones that geeked him up to do this shit. And they don't fuck with him no more. Like, they calling him a goofy. You know what I'm saying? They calling him a send-off and shit like that. But they the same ones. Bro, get him. He right there. Y'all get that nigga. You know what I'm saying? He did the shit for some niggas that don't even care for him. Because he said, he told me, he was like, man, on some real shit, he was like, my boys ain't geek me up, He's like, I probably wouldn't even peep him. Because he like, my boys is the ones that saw him first. And they the ones that was telling me to get him. He was like, I probably would have never seen dog. And he was like, and if I did seen him, he was like, I probably would have thought twice. Because we was downtown, broad daylight, in front of fucking 5,000 people. You know what I'm saying? He like, I did it for the team. And the team let me down. And it broke him down. He was just crying. You know what I'm saying? He like, I lost my life, bro. He like, I don't got no kids, nothing. He like, I never experienced shit. I never had a real job. I never had my own crib. I barely got to drive a car for real. You know what I'm saying? He like, I didn't get to do all the fixings that you about to go back out into the world and do. He like, you know, even though, because, you know, of course, I told him what I was on before I got locked up, you know. He was like, man, 80% of that shit that you done already did before you came here, he was like, I ain't even did that shit. You know what I'm saying? And he like, now you about to go back out there and you could do so much more. He was like, I will never get to experience none of that. You know what I'm saying? And man, that shit hurt me inside. I ain't even gonna lie, you know. And like I said, if you never seen a grown man cry for his life, that shit is the most hurtful thing in the world. Because a man is taught to be strong. Don't let him see you sweat. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. But when you in that box with a whole bunch of other grown men, that's when you see the real come out of a man. A man is still a human, just like anybody else. You know what I'm saying? And that's about the only place he get to let out his emotions is in prison. He cried, man. He cried like a baby. We spinning laps. He just wiping the tears away. You know what I'm saying? Sick. We walking past his boys. He trying to hurry up, straighten up, you know, clean his face up before his boys see him crying. This how serious this shit is. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, man. You know, I'm like, it ain't no way I could ever come back to this. You know, the same guy that murked this nigga at the summer jams when I was down there, I remember that shit. I'm sitting here in prison with this nigga right now, spinning laps with him all around the yard. You know what I'm saying? And he crying to me. I remember them gunshots. And now I'm on the yard with him and he crying like a little girl. And every time we get close to people that he know, he got to straighten up, wipe his face up real quick. You know what I'm saying? He be like, man, look, can you see anything? You know I'm about to walk past such and such. You know, man, you see any tears, anything? I'm good. I'm like, nah, you straight. You know what I'm saying? All right, man. We walk past his people. What up, dog? Everybody good? Blah, blah, blah. You know, playing it like everything's sweet. We get past him. Tears get to falling hard again. Y'all don't know nothing about that. You don't want to know nothing about that. But just in case it ever do happen, just remember, I told you this right here, right now. You never seen a grown man cry. And you don't want to. That's some of the worst shit in the world. I believe that me seeing all the grown men cry during the time I did, I think that was worse than me actually doing the time. Doing time easy, for real. It's all up here. Long as you get with the military style that they got you doing every day, you would get used to it. It's a part of the program. You know you can't walk out the gate. You can't walk through that door. You can't do none of that. You know what I'm saying? So when you just get used to the pattern, your time become easy. When you learn how to block out the world and say, hey, I ain't gonna be back home for another 3-4 years. Let me just go ahead and fall back and do my time. When you learn how to get that in your mentality, your time be easy. That's how I was able to do my time. I ain't all stressed out. I ain't bald head. You know, I ain't mad about life. Nothing. I'm like, I didn't even win. You know what I'm saying? Because I learned how to do my time early. A lot of guys don't know how to do their time. That's why a lot of them be coming out bald head, stressed the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't know how to do their time. Well, I knew how to do my time. I knew what was coming. I had to accept it, and I just had to adapt to it. I'm one of the ones that it can adapt to anything. You know what I'm saying? So when it was time for me to do my time, I had to adapt to the shit. You know. So like I said, my time was pretty easy. The hard part was seeing all these grown men cry for their life because they got life in prison, or they got 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, big ass football numbers that they ain't gonna never come back from. And another thing, when you got them high crimes and you get a lot of time like that, it ain't no guarantee that you're gonna get out in 20 years. Just because they sentence you to 20 years, that don't mean that you're gonna get out in 20 years. 20 years go by, you will go see the parole board and they be like, hey, we feel like you ain't did enough time for that. Boom, send you back. So don't think just because you got sentenced to 20 years that that's all you gonna do. That's not the truth. Most of them guys that get sentenced to 15, 20, 30 years, most of them, they do way more time than that because it's up to the parole board after that. You know what I'm saying? The judge sentenced you to that time. You never see that judge ever again. The judge slammed that guy with 20 years. Boom. You never see that judge ever again. It's all up to the parole board after that. So 20 years later, you go see the parole board and they say, hey, yeah, the judge said 20 years, but we feel like that wasn't enough time for you. So they go a 24-month flop and they keep flopping your ass. Sometimes I done been in prison with guys that got sentenced to 20 years. This how it go. The judge will sentence you 20 to life, right? So basically your minimum is 20 years, your maximum is life. I done been in prison, I done been in prison with a bunch of guys. They got sentenced to 20 years to life, and they gonna serve that whole life sentence. I done been in there with guys that got sentenced to 20 to life, and by the time I met them, they was already 35 years in. They was supposed to got out 15 years ago. Like, why the fuck is you still here? The parole board ain't approve of them. The parole board don't approve everybody. So don't think just because you get sentenced to some time, that means that's when you're going to get out. Or one of your people gets sentenced to some time, that's when they're going to get out. No, it don't mean that. Me, I got lucky, honestly, because of the crime that I had and the little bitty time that I had. I got sentenced to 4 to 10 years. So my bottom was 4, my top was 10. So that means I could have did the whole 10 piece. Just so happened that was my first felony. You know what I'm saying? I did everything I was supposed to do in prison. I didn't have no bad record or nothing. And another thing, when you go see the parole board, you got to talk real fluently. A lot of people don't have that fluent talking to talk back with the parole board, because you got to remember, these are some high class professional people, and if you can't snap back with the questions that they asking you, they writing that shit down like, nah, he ain't ready for the world. It took him too long to answer this. We didn't like that answer. They write everything down that you say. So luckily I was able to talk fluently, you know what I'm saying? I was able to get back on everything that they was throwing at me. And one of the main things they look for is accountability. So basically they'll tell you, like, on that day that you caught that crime, walk us through it. So if you got sentenced to 5 years and the parole board comes see you in 5 years, you might not even remember exactly how that case went. So when they tell you to walk them through that case, mind you, they got your transcripts. So they know exactly how that case happened. They read all the transcripts. They know exactly how it happened. They want you to tell them exactly how it happened. And if you don't tell them exactly how it happened, because again, you might not remember every single thing of it, they write that shit down. They use that shit against you. Everything that come out your mouth, they use it against you. And it's all being recorded, just like in court. You know what I'm saying? Man, like I said, I got lucky, dog. I was blessed. I was able to keep up with them. Again, it was my first felony, and I had a good record. I had a high school diploma. You know what I'm saying? All that shit kind of worked out for me. You know what I'm saying? I had work history. Uh, it's just a lot of things that can go in your favor. You know what I'm saying? And I had all the tools that went in my favor, and I knew how to talk to them. And when they told me to walk down that day, I was able to walk it down to them exactly how it was in the transcript. And I took full responsibility for what I did. So they granted me my parole. I got blessed. But think about a guy that got sentenced to 20 years. And then 20 years later, he go see the parole board. It ain't like it's the same people that was on the parole board 20 years ago. You got new people on the parole board 20 years later. You might got somebody on the parole board that's 20 years old. You might be 40, 50 years old. And it's 3 parole agents that you go in front of when you go for your parole. All 3 of these parole agents can be in their 20s. They wasn't even alive when you caught your case. But they here to judge you. And they read your transcripts. And then they tell you to walk down that day. And then you in your head like, man, that was 20 years ago. I don't remember exactly how it happened. And if you can't tell them exactly how it happened, they write it down. And they use it against you. Sad. But like I said, I was one of them ones that, I got in, got out that bitch. You know what I'm saying? On some blessed type shit. So back to my mans, you know what I'm saying? He gave me a lot of game in a little bit of time. And he was one of the biggest influences on me. And everything happened for a reason, man. I was sent to that prison for a reason, to bump into him, the same guy that committed this damn murder when I was down there when this shit happened. And here I am on the yard spinning laps with him. You know what I'm saying? How ironic was that? While he doing that, we done stopped a couple of times on the yard. We stopped. Like, sometimes when you spinning laps around the yard and niggas get to saying some real shit, sometimes a nigga will stop. And he'll look at you like, look at me. I'm telling you, this ain't what you want. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes niggas get to doing that type of shit. Man, he didn't stop me like 5 or 6 times within the first lap. I'm like, bro, I don't ever want to see you back in here. He like, you my nigga, I fuck with you, but I don't ever want to see you back in here. You know what I'm saying? He like, learn from me. I ain't never going nowhere. This is my home. You know what I'm saying? He like, you see this shit? Fucking, he showing me honey buns and shit. You know what I'm saying? He pulling honey buns out of his pocket. Because in prison, the prison pens that they give you, they don't have pockets. But it's guys in there that know how to make pockets. And they know how to stitch pockets on your pens. So, bro got 4 pockets. You know what I'm saying? He reaching in his pockets, pulling out honey buns and chips and shit. He like, nigga, this is what I got to live for. This is all I got. He like, you about to go back out there in the real world. He like, nigga, this is my life. Honey buns and chips. And the tears, it was a sad day, man. It was crazy, Not only him, I had a couple of bunkies at the time. When I was at that prison, I had 2 bunkies. I had my first bunkie he had life. And my second one, I had life. The first one I had, they ended up moving me from the cell with him because me and him was doing bullshit on the yard, but they never caught us up. So they figured that they needed to split us up. So they moved me out the cell with him. I was still in the same unit with him. They just put me out the cell with him. So they put me in another cell. Next cell they put me in, was another guy that had life. You know what I'm saying? Just so happened, bro knew my people from the hood. You know what I'm saying? He was showing me pictures he had with them and everything. So he was official. And he was another one that cried to me. So mind you, I'm spinning laps with dog that did the summer jam thing. He crying. Then I got to go to my cell with my bunkie that's doing life as well. He crying. So I got to hear crying at 3 a.m. and I got to hear crying at 3 p.m. from a grown ass man that was out here in the streets, out here smoking shit, well known gangsters that can call 3 or 4 people right now and send them $200, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And they lost their life. Life is gone. But yeah, bro, he had it bad, you know, and he wanted his life back. He wanted another chance. You know, he felt like even though what he did was wrong, but he felt like he deserved another chance. You know, and the reality is you don't get another chance. It's over. You know, when you first come in there for them high ranking crimes like that, a lot of guys be thinking they gonna get back on the appeal and shit like that. I don't know if y'all ever watched court cases, but the court cases they be like, just say they send you 30 years in prison, right? All right, the judge give you 30 years, and then immediately after that, the judge like you got 30 days to appeal your case. Now, you put in your appeal within the 30 days, but guess what? It's gonna take a good 20 years to get back on that appeal. How you know, Mr. Roll Up? Not only was you in prison, but how else do you know? I put in an appeal for my case. Yeah, everybody had a right to appeal their case, whether if you was wrong or you was innocent. Even if you got up there and you admitted that you committed the crime, you still have a right to appeal your case. Everyone has a right to appeal their case, right? I appealed my case, and I only had 4 years to do, and I appealed my case. Guess what? Here it is. I went in 2011. It's 2025. So that's 14 years. I still ain't heard nothing on the appeal. Because they could mail me and tell me, hey, you know, we got your appeal letter, you know, even though you out and everything, you living your life, but we do got your appeal letter. No, I ain't heard shit. And I called my case 14 years ago. This just go to show you that appeal shit, it ain't what you think. They just be telling you can appeal it. Appeals is only good for like guys that got life in prison and they don't got nothing but time to wait on appeal court to call them back. If you got a small amount of time, you ain't gonna never see appeal courts. Do you know how many appeal courts it is that you got to get to? And then the top court is the Supreme Court. It's probably like 3 or 4 courts before the Supreme Court in the appealing aspect. You got to get through all of them courts before you can get to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court is the one that make the ruling on your case. Good 20-year wait, 20 years. So for anybody that think they gonna commit a crime and get an appeal, you're gonna be waiting a good 20 years on the appeal alone. Then when you get the appeal, it's no guarantee that you're gonna get out. You know how many times guys then went to the Supreme Court to appeal their case and got smoked? Yeah, I know this firsthand. I was in there with a lot of them guys. I was in there with a guy that got smoked 3 times because he went to appeal the first time, which took him 22 years to see the appeal court. Then when he finally seen the appeal court, they smoked him, right? Gone on back. Guess what the appeal court can do? They can always call you back and say, hey, we want to retry you. We want to hear your case over again. To like geek your head up, make you think like, oh shit, the Supreme Court calling me back again. Damn, this might be my chance just to smoke you again. I was in there with a guy that got smoked 3 times by the Supreme Court on the same case off one appeal. They called him back 2 times after they smoked him the first time and smoked him all 3 times. So don't believe that appeal shit is, you know, the outweigh, because it ain't no guarantee, man. Once that judge sentences you to the state, you are now state property. And it's up to the state if they ever want to let you out again. Usually they don't. You know what I'm saying? You make them money by being there. Don't think that they hurting with you sitting in prison. Like, come on, man. They make so much money off of each inmate. It's ridiculous. Just to house them. Then the food that they get is donated. So it's not like they coming out their pocket to feed you or none of that shit. And they make you work for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, prison is set up so crazy. You know, it's set up. And then the jobs that they have you work, which is you could be a cook in the chow hall. It's called the chow hall in prison, where you go eat at. The lunchroom, whatever you want to call it, is called the chow hall because they feeding you fucking chow. When it's time to call lunch, breakfast, lunch, dinner, they don't say, "Hey, it's breakfast time. Go get your breakfast." They call it chow. It's chow time. It's called chow. So they call it the chow hall, right? You could work in the chow hall as a cook. You could work on the yard, cutting the grass, or you could work in the what the fuck is this school called? It's a school building inside the prison. I can't think of the name of it, but you could work inside that school building. Them the 3 jobs that you can have in prison. And guess what? You only make like 97 cents a day. Yeah, for an 8-hour shift. Not for 1 hour, not for 30 minutes, a whole 8-hour shift. You average about 97, 98 cents a day. Not even a whole dollar. And this is your life. So, like I said, y'all ain't never seen a grown man cry. And that ain't what you want to see. And the same man that committed this murder that I was down there for when it happened, I was literally talking to a girl and then bah 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 bah. Oh shit. We all took off like, what the fuck? Everybody ran. You ever seen 5,000 people run at one time? Yeah. Bro shook up everybody down there real quick. And here it is, 10 years later, I bump into him. And he crying to me, telling me don't ever come back. Man, you know, a lot of guys ain't really had that kind of lesson from people like that they actually was around when something happened for them to understand like, nah, this ain't no place you want to come back to. And you know, a lot of them guys come back. Like I said, the statistics on guys coming back to prison is 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 of them gonna come back. I wasn't a part of that ratio and never will be. You know, and not only that, it's so much more shit going on in there. It's sad, man. Fuck all that. Do you know what 60 grown men smell like? Have you ever been on a wing with 60 grown men? No, you haven't. You probably been around your daddy, your uncle, your cousin, a couple of your homeboys after they got done playing basketball. That's the smell you know of. You don't know nothing about being on one fucking wing with 60 grown ass men that need to take a shower. You don't know nothing about no smell like that. That smell alone keep me away from prison. Like, no, I never want to smell that again. That shit is foul. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so many things that I just said, like, it ain't no way I would ever go back to prison. Like, it ain't no way. I don't give a fuck. I will go sleep in a cardboard box. You can call me the biggest bum of the world. I don't give a fuck. I will never do nothing to go back to prison. Ever. And this is why I have a lot of downtime on different things and I just sit and chill. You know what I'm saying? When I be having downtime, I chill. When I could go commit a crime and, up 10, 15 racks real quick, but then it's gonna cost me my life. You know what I'm saying? I ain't with that. I'm straight. I done did enough of that. Like I said, I will go crawl under a rock until things get better for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I done been there, done it, and can't nobody out here that ain't never did no time can't tell me shit. You can't tell me nothing. You know what I'm saying? When I didn't sit in that cell for 4 years doing nothing. So if I need to sit down for a month or two, 3 months, 6 months, whatever, however long I need to sit down and not do nothing, I will. Until things get better for me, until I get another job, until whatever the fuck gotta happen. I don't give a fuck. It's gonna happen because I'm not going back in there. You know what I'm saying? And another thing with that, right? After you catch your first felony and you go to prison, when you go to prison, they don't say you've been to prison one time, you've been to prison 2 times. It's called prefixes. So I'm an A prefix because I only been there once. After that, you a B prefix, C, D, E, blah 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 blah. You know, when you come back, they use that against you. They said, well, you already been an A prefix, now you a B prefix. So they get you more time in prison because you already been in prison. Now you coming back again. So it goes some more time. So just say if the crime you committed, you was only supposed to do like 2 years on it. Well, since you was already an A prefix, so now that 2 years about to turn into 3, or that 2 years about to turn into 4, or it's about to turn into 5. Whatever it is, you're not gonna get the minimum time that you was supposed to get because you didn't already been in prison. I'm cool. I don't got no more time in me. I'm in my 30s now. I did that shit in my 20s. You know what I'm saying? I'm in my 30s now. I don't got the time, the patience, the willing. You know what I'm saying? I don't got none of that in me no more. So no, no, no. I can't do another round of prison. I'm good. That shit burned me out. I'm straight. Like I said, I will crawl under a rock for 6 months if I have to. And I don't give a damn what anybody got to say about me because ain't nobody been there where I been. Because for the ones that have been there where I been, they will understand if a nigga got to crawl under a rock for 6 months. You know what I'm saying? Because nigga, that is the rock. That is the rock. That's the rock for real. And that's the rock that you can't crawl from up under. That's the rock that got your ass trapped. Like on SpongeBob. The rock that Patrick lived under. That's the rock that you under when you in prison. And it ain't no that motherfucker open and you going about your business. That rock slam down on you and you're done. You're done. I done seen so many of the toughest gangsters in prison get broke down in that bitch off of time. Usually it'll take a guy a good 10 years before he finally wake up and realize like, damn, I'm not going home. And that's when he want to start changing his life. Within the first 10 years, the guy coming there all rowdy on that rah-rah shit, talking all that hood shit. Yeah, I don't give a fuck. Woo, woo, woo. Yeah, I did what I was supposed to do. Yeah, I got the ops. Blah, 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 blah. All that rah-rah shit, right? They'd be on it for like the first 10 years. After they hit that 10-year mark, they realize they ain't going nowhere. This they new norm. This they home. Then that's when they start feeling remorse. Then that's when they want to start joining religions. Then that's when they want to stop gang banging. Then that's when they want to start wisening up and start talking different and be a better man. Then that's when they want to come home. They don't want to do this no more. It's too late, baby. You signed that fate. You gotta do your time. It's over with. Ain't nothing else you could do. It's a wrap. It don't matter what you say, what courses you take in there, what religions you join, how many cops you get cool with in that bitch. Don't none of that shit matter. They don't give a fuck about you. They not gonna let you go. I see so many guys in there with a lot of time that, always at the police desk talking to the police, trying to be cool with them, thinking they gonna get a little leniency out of the cops, for being cool with the police and shit like that. Man, look, they don't give a fuck. They see so many lifers every day, and that's their job. They sit there and they kick you with you, talk all that shit. They tell you about their life, their wife, their kids, what they about to do when they get off, all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? They do all of that. And then when their shift is over with, or when it's time for you to lock down, guess what they say? All right, go to your cell. They sit there and laughed and giggled with your ass for 30 minutes straight. Now it's time to lock down. Go to your cell. They doing their time off of you. You know what I'm saying? And they about to get paid for it, and they get to go home. Out cold. I done seen so many COs bring food into the prison when they not supposed to, because it make the inmates rowdy, because the inmates don't get to eat that kind of food. You know what I'm saying? Some of them got that kind of seniority in there where they can bring in whatever the fuck they want. They come in there with Subway and all type of shit. You won't get no Subway in prison. You know what I'm saying? So a motherfucker see a foot long in that bitch all dressed up, roast beef, chicken, all type of shit. Man, they run straight to the motherfucking police desk and get to kicking it with the police, hoping that they can get a piece of it. And the damn cop just sit there, eat the whole damn sub in their face, lick their fingers and everything. And after that, guess what they tell them? All right, go to your cell. It's time to lock down. Peace out. Yeah, get in your cell. It was nice talking to you, but lockdown. You know what I'm saying? That ain't where you want to be. I'm telling you. And the easiest way to get there is being in the streets. Especially nowadays. They cleaning up the streets left and right. They cleaning them up. I truly believe it's going to get to a point where all of this crime shit, it might not come to a zero, but it's going to come to a very, very, very low number. Because they snatching niggas up every day. And with the way how technology is being televised. Back then, it wasn't really being televised like that. All you just know is somebody go to jail, that's it. Well, now it's letting it be known what's going on in that bitch. So I think it's scaring a lot of people from going there. You know what I'm saying? Especially with like these big known celebrities getting locked up. And you see they not coming home, no matter how much money they got, no matter how much respect they got, no matter what keys to the city they got. They not coming home. They treat you just like a nigga on the street. They don't care if you a celebrity or not. Dog. The system is the ultimate gangster. Don't nobody escape that, no matter how much money you got. The judge, the prosecutors, they don't give a fuck about your status. They only care about what you did and why you in there. So, hopefully, this live touched a lot of y'all, made y'all understand that street shit ain't it. Your homies geeking you up to do something, they gonna leave you in the end. I don't give a fuck how real y'all think y'all is or what y'all on or what y'all talking. When you go to that box, your homie's not gonna care. You know why? Because they not in there. They ain't in there. So what the fuck is they gonna care about you for? They ain't in there with you. This is you in there. That's your life. That's you know what I'm saying? They gonna move right on along. Yeah, they gonna say free you, put you on a t-shirt and all of that. Free my mans, jump on Facebook, free dog, tag your name and all that good shit. And then after that, it's a wrap. How you know, Mr. Roll Up? Shit, my homies left me when I went to do my time. And I put in hella work for my niggas. The hood, all that. I didn't put in hella work. I got hella respect, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm well known throughout the motherfucking city. Fuck the hood. I'm known through the city. And when I got knocked, everybody dropped me. That's how it go. You know what I'm saying? Your respect only as good as you being free. Once you get locked up, your respect gone. That shit don't mean nothing. Your respect over with once you get locked up. No matter what you done did out here in these streets. Another prime example, the O Block niggas. Yeah. Muwab, C Murder, Zell, all of them niggas, right? Well-known O Block members. Well respected. Now look at them. Ain't nobody fucking with them. Don't nobody give a fuck. Because that's how it go. When you go to prison, it's over with. Your respect, everything is done. It's over. You had your fun, you did what you did. It's a wrap now. And now them same O Block guys, and you think I'm lying, jump on the internet. You can see it. I see it on my timeline all day. All up and down on my feed. All day, every day. How the O Block guys speaking out saying that them they mans and them ain't real. Them niggas some hoes. Niggas left them for dead. Niggas ain't doing shit for them. Niggas ain't sending them nothing. Yeah. That's how it go. Once you get knocked, it's a wrap. Your credibility, everything that you had out here is done. Why? Because you're not out there no more. It's called out of sight, out of mind. And now you're out of sight, out of mind. So guess what? It's over. I only had one homie. One homie. Actually, I had two. One of them was my cousin, but the other one was my homie, my little homie Dre and my cousin Brian. Both of them is dead and gone. They the only two that wrote me while I was in jail. And both of them died the same year. Both of them died 2013. That was about halfway into my time. Both of them died while I was in prison. They was the only two that wrote me. Everybody else still alive, still free, still doing their thing. None of them wrote me. None of them sent me shit, nothing. But the ones that did come through for me is dead and gone. And they both died back to back. Ain't that some shit? This street shit ain't it. I'm telling you. It might seem cool on the videos and all of that shit, but in real reality, in real time, it's the worst thing you can do. And if you don't believe it, let the system tell you, because they don't mind booking your ass. Before I end this, right, let me drop this on y'all real quick. I was on YouTube maybe like 2 weeks ago. And it's this viral judge. It's a female, a black female. Y'all probably know who I'm talking about. I don't know her name or none of that. But I seen it in the shorts. Somebody had posted it in the shorts, right? And she had a case with this young black guy. The young black guy, he was getting sentenced for selling drugs. He was selling drugs in his hometown or whatever. He got caught up, right? Well, when he got caught up, he admitted. He was like, yeah, I was selling drugs, things like that. He said, I was doing it for my family. I got a daughter, you know, blah, blah, blah. Times is hard, all of that good shit, right? Well, the judge, she like, you know, I respect that, you know, you admit to your wrongdoing and things like that. But It's always a but with the system. Now, before I go into his sentence, let me back it up a little bit. Of course, he went for probation. So his lawyer trying to get him probation and get him up out of there because he didn't harm anybody. He was just selling drugs, trying to make a way. So, this is defense. And his lawyer trying to get him probation, get him up out of there. Okay, now back to the judge. Like I said, she respect him for being real and all of that, but you still was a harm to the community. So you got to get sentenced to prison. Not no county time, not 6 months in the county, none of that. She gave this guy 9 years in prison. He thought he was gonna get probation. She gave him 9 years. How you go from probation to 9 years? That just go to show you the system don't give a fuck about nothing you got going on. They don't give a fuck. If you admit to it, if you didn't kill nobody, they don't give a fuck. You break their rules, your ass get cooked. Now with her giving him the 9 years, right? She was telling him like, I gotta give you this time and everything. But she like at the same time, it's a lot of guys out here just like you that's out here selling drugs and in the streets and doing bad shit that they're not supposed to do because they think that these jails is overcrowded. They think that basically with these jails supposed to be overcrowded that they gonna let them back out, which might have been his case. He thought he was gonna get out because the jails are supposed to be overcrowded, things like that. So this was she telling him. It don't matter if they is overcrowded. Guess what? If it's supposed to be 10 inmates in a cell, they'll put 20 in there. And that's the realest shit. It ain't no such thing as an overcrowded jail and they gonna send people home. If they gotta bunk you on top of other inmates, they will. Why? Because you state property. And once you go in there, again, you out of sight, out of mind to the public. You in a box. So if they gotta put you on top of 2 or 3 niggas, they will. Hopefully that was a bug in y'all ear. Cause they will and they have. And I done been there to see it myself. Where I done been in a cell where it only held 40 inmates. And we counted how many inmates was in this cell because it was way more than the capacity. It was 66 inmates in the cell that we was in. It said on the wall, the 40 prisoners is the capacity for this cell. We counted every last one. We don't got shit else to do. We counted everybody. It was 66 inmates in this cell. So that's 26 inmates over capacity. So don't think that you're going to get let out because your crime a little petty or whatever and, jail's overcrowded and all of that. Nigga, please. No such thing. They will stack your ass on top of other inmates and they will get ready to build another jail, another prison to make more space. Why? Because you paying for it by being there. I hope this was a lesson to y'all. It's been another live stream of Roll Up a Pull Up. So get your blunts rolled and your drink poured.